Hello everyone, Dr. Polaris here. Let's jump straight back into covering the Accipitrids, the diverse family of predatory birds that contains the hawks, eagles, vultures, buzzards, among many others. When we left off last time, I just finished detailing the circadian serpent eagles, which are generally medium-sized forest-dwelling carnivores, with the notable exception of the large and imposing Philippine eagle. The sister group to these animals, somewhat surprisingly, are the Egyptian vultures, which range widely across Africa and Eurasia. They are not close relatives of the Gypaetian vultures covered in the previous episode, representing an example of convergent evolution. The most basal member of the group appears to be the critically endangered hooded vulture of the genus Necrocertes. Present across eastern, southern and west Africa, it is a scruffy-looking small vulture with dark brown plumage, a long thin bill and bare head. The genus is one of the smallest Afro-Eurasian vultures, with a wingspan of up to 1.8 metres or 5.9 feet, and a body weight of 1.5 to 2.6 kilograms, or 5.7 pounds at a maximum. It is a fairly unspecialised scavenger, feeding on the remains of a wide range of animals, both wild and domestic, and can often be seen soaring over the savannah looking for a potential meal. However, they are also partial to insects as well, snacking on termites as they emerge from their mounds. In West Africa they readily live alongside human settlements, although despite this their numbers seem to be diminishing rapidly in the wild, owing to various factors including poisoning, hunting and habitat loss. Its close relative, the 8 species of the genus Gyps, have a broader range, being present across much of Africa and into Eurasia, although many of these are also endangered. All species are large raptors, with the most massive being the Himalayan vulture, which is also one of the least threatened forms. Its wingspan can reach more than 10 feet across, with mature adults weighing up to 12.5 kilograms or 28 pounds. Living out on the Tibetan Plateau, as well as in the Himalayan mountains, the vultures soar on thermals while searching for potential sources of dead flesh. In modern times, over 64% of this animal's diet consists of meat obtained from domestic yak carcasses, with the birds being surprisingly picky eaters, disdaining offal and concentrating on choicer cuts of meat. In the past, Himalayan vultures would readily feed on human corpses left out on sky burial grounds, which was a traditional method of burial undertaken by Buddhist communities in Tibet. Like many other members of the genus Gyps, these animals possess comparatively large, robust beaks, well suited for tearing into flesh. South of the Himalayas, the smaller and striking-looking red-headed vulture of the genus Sarcogyps was once highly abundant across India and into Southeast Asia, although populations have declined severely in recent decades, with the vulture now being classified as critically endangered. This is largely due to the impact of pharmaceutical drugs used to treat livestock, which has proven highly toxic to these vultures once they consume the remains of goats and cattle. Today, populations are mostly concentrated in northern India, where the birds inhabit open country and semi-desert areas. Further to the north, in a range spanning from Portugal to South Korea, can be found one of the largest of all Afro-Eurasian vultures, and the most massive modern accipitrid, the cinereous vulture, known scientifically as Aegypius monachus. With a distinctive dark feathered coat, this animal is only slightly lighter than the extinct Haast's eagle, which we covered in the previous episode, with adult females weighing up to 14 kilograms or 31 pounds, and possessing wingspans of over 10 feet in some cases. Its beak is hooked and rather massive, being capable of crushing bone and easily tearing open carcasses. The cinereous vulture inhabits mountainous areas, flying over vast regions of open steppe, meadow and grassland, where it locates and feeds on any carrion it can find. In terms of behaviour, the vulture is bold and often aggressive, being dominant over other scavengers in its range, such as members of the genus Gyps and terrestrial mammals such as foxes and jackals. Live prey is also taken occasionally as well, with the bird targeting a wide range of animals, including domestic species such as lambs and calves, to tortoises, lizards and red foxes. The cinereous vulture is a mostly solitary bird, being found alone or in pairs much more frequently than other vultures, although dozens of individuals can be found surrounding a large corpse or at other feeding sites. During the Pleistocene, Aegypians were more widespread than they are today, with the subfamily being present in Australia as well, in the form of the genus Cryptogyps, which would have fed on the remains of megafaunal marsupials such as diprotodontids and kangaroos. Beyond this, we come to the family Aquilinae, informally known as the booted eagles. These vary greatly in size, and share little in overall physical appearance, although all species have comparatively large and powerful taloned feet. They also have incredibly keen eyesight, with more than 3 times the visual acuity of a human, and they're clearly highly adaptable, being found on all continents except Antarctica, where they fill active predatory niches in a wide range of ecosystems. The most basal members of the subfamily are the Crested Hawk-Eagles of the genus Hieraaetus. These are forest-dwelling hunters that are found across the tropical regions of Asia, possessing comparatively short rounded wings and are quite modest in size, with the smallest species, Wallace's hawk-eagle, being comparable to a peregrine falcon, weighing just 600 grams or 1.34 pounds. Recent studies have found this genus to be closely related to the African crowned eagle, a much larger but still forest-dwelling animal found across the western, central and southern parts of the continent. Like Hieraaetus, it possesses relatively short rounded wings for its overall size, spanning up to 6 feet or so for an 8-pound bird. Although not Africa's largest bird of prey, the crowned eagle certainly has the most fearsome reputation, with the legs and feet being notably muscular and powerfully built. Being highly manoeuvrable flyers, the genus has a prey base containing almost entirely mammals, particularly small ungulates such as dik-diks, chevretains and royal antelope, although hyraxes, vervet monkeys and young baboons are also taken as well. Prey species are sometimes killed on impact, with the eagle crushing their skulls in its talons, with animals weighing up to 30 kilograms or 66 pounds representing the upper size limit. Of all living raptors, it is this species that targets primates with the greatest frequency, with the crowned eagle being known to have attacked and killed children in Tanzania. As noted in the previous episode, crowned eagles were also once native to Madagascar as well, where they preyed on the now extinct sloth lemurs, as well as the still living indries and ringtails. On the African mainland, its range overlaps with the more derived martial eagle, the genus PMID, which inhabits more open savanna environments. It is an impressive and intimidating animal, with a dark feathered coat covering the head and back, while the chest and underside are cream-coloured with black spots. The wings are longer and narrower than those of the crowned eagle, reaching up to 7 feet 10 inches across, with females being larger than males, weighing about 5 kilograms or 11 pounds on average. Their vision is very keen, being able to spot potential prey from up to 6 kilometers away, targeting a wide range of species, including many smaller ungulates, hares, hyraxes, monitor lizards, and even carnivorans such as jackals and caracals. Individuals spend large amounts of time soaring over the open savanna, being more well adapted for such aerial activities than other African eagles. In terms of behaviour, it is bold and brash, often challenging larger carnivores and even regularly attacking livestock, which brings the bird into conflict with people. This has led to substantial population declines, with the martial eagle now being classified as endangered. Sometimes referred to as the leopard of the sky, this genus is at the top of the avian food chain across its huge range, which encompasses the Sahel as well as most of eastern and southern Africa. In the most derived position within Aquilinae are 2 highly successful genera, both of which are widespread. The genus Hieraaetus contains 5 species of living medium-sized raptors, as well as the massive extinct Haast's eagle, which we covered in the previous episode. Thanks to DNA testing, we know that among the closest living relatives of Haast's eagle is the Australian little eagle, which lives up to its name by only being about the size of a peregrine falcon. It is found across almost the entirety of Australia and favours open woodland grassland as well as arid areas of the interior. In flight it is fast and agile, swooping down on a variety of small prey species from above, including introduced rabbits, bandicoots, lizards and smaller birds, such as starlings and magpie larks. This raptor is also a close relative of the booted eagle, which is found across Eurasia and Africa. Known scientifically as Hieraaetus pennatus, it is another medium-sized form, possessing a wingspan from 1.1 to 1.3 metres across, and weighing less than a kilogram or 2.2 pounds. It is mostly chocolate brown in colour, with a lighter cream underside, and inhabits wooded, often hilly countryside with some open areas, only avoiding heavily forested environments. The eagle hunts small prey such as rodents, lizards and frogs, with other birds seeming to comprise most of its diet. Individuals across their northern range in Eurasia fly south for the winter, spending the period between November and February in sub-Saharan Africa and India. Interestingly, all species of Hieraaetus are accomplished hunters of other birds, demonstrating how the ancestors of Haast's eagle thrived upon arriving in New Zealand, a land teeming with avian prey. The final genus within Aquilinae is Aquila itself, which contains 11 species found across Africa, Eurasia, Australia and North America. Aquila seems to have originated during the Middle Miocene, about 15 million years ago, with fossil forms being known from Australia and France. Most modern forms are relatively large and powerful, except for the African hawk-eagles and the mostly Eurasian Bonelli's eagle, which are more modestly sized predators. The latter possesses a patchy distribution ranging from Portugal to southern China, preferring hilly and mountainous areas. It is a relatively specialised hunter, relying on large populations of a few staple prey types, such as rabbits, galliforms and pigeons. Like members of Hieraaetus, Bonelli's eagle is skilled at targeting other birds, possessing long legs well suited for grabbing prey while on the wing. It lives alongside several other species of Aquila, including the slightly larger Spanish imperial eagle in the Iberian Peninsula. This bird dwells in mature dry woodlands in central and southwest Spain and southern Portugal, feeding mostly on the European rabbit, which comprises about 50% of its diet, although declines in the rabbit population have forced the eagles to target a wider range of avian prey as well, particularly water birds. This species avoids competition with other raptors due to preferring more low-lying wooded areas. It is also a close relative of the eastern imperial eagle Aquila helaica, which possesses a much wider range, spanning much of Eurasia from Eastern Europe to South Korea. It generally resembles other members of the genus, being quite darkly coloured and powerfully built, inhabiting relatively open grassland and forest steppe, where it hunts a huge variety of prey species, including ground squirrels, hares, hamsters, as well as the young of large birds such as geese and bustards. Its range significantly overlaps with that of the larger golden eagle Aquila chrysaetos, which is found across the northern hemisphere. Although the two species often live in the same regions, the golden eagle tends to prefer more mountainous habitats, generally being found at higher elevations. This is the largest of the Aquila species, with the wingspan measuring up to 7 feet 8 inches and weighing 7 kilograms or 16 pounds at a maximum. They are considered to be the best flyers among all eagles, possessing long broad wings that enable the bird to reach incredible speeds while diving after prey, reaching about 320 kilometers per hour or 200 miles per hour. Along with the peregrine falcon, the golden eagle is among the fastest of all animals, hunting small mammals such as rabbits, hares, marmots and prairie dogs, although they will occasionally target larger animals such as seals, deer and geese. Individuals maintain massive home ranges up to 200 kilometers squared and often behave aggressively to intruders, with the eagles often being seen tumbling through the air as they confront each other. Although still widespread across vast areas of Eurasia and North America, human interference has driven these magnificent birds into mostly mountainous terrain, with most lowland populations being extirpated in Western Europe. After surviving through their tumultuous and dangerous early years, golden eagles can live for a relatively long time, reaching their 30s in some cases. During the Pleistocene, several now extinct subspecies were present in Europe and Western North America that were notably larger and more robust than the modern forms, perhaps due to a more diverse prey base being available at this time. Next we come to the subfamily Harpyaceae, which are mostly forest-dwelling forms present in sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia and neotropical regions of the Americas. There are 4 living genera, with the most basal member of the group being the Papuan eagle, the genus Harpyopsis, a relatively large but poorly understood raptor that inhabits mature tropical rainforests on the island of New Guinea. It is known to hunt a wide variety of prey species, most of them being quite sizable, including possums, tree kangaroos, megapodes and monitor lizards. Interestingly, the eagle appears to be a proficient runner, chasing prey on the forest floor. This may be due to the absence of other terrestrial carnivores on the island after the extinction of Varanus priscus and possibly large predatory marsupials during the late Pleistocene. Although likely never a common animal, Papuan eagle populations are known to be declining sharply due to habitat destruction and hunting. Meanwhile, the more derived bat hawk is a relatively small, superficially falcon-like genus native to forested regions across Africa and Southeast Asia. With a distinctive black and white coat, this is a fairly specialised predator that targets small, fast-flying prey, such as bats, nightjars and swifts. It is crepuscular and tends to devour prey whole while on the wing, having a very wide gape for a bird of its size. This niche allows the bat hawk to avoid competition with other larger raptors. The remaining two genera are both native to Central and South America, being large canopy-dwelling predators of arboreal prey. The crested eagle of the genus Morphnus is the smaller of the two, possessing a wingspan under 6 feet and weighing up to 3 kilograms or 6.6 pounds. With a sooty grey to white coloured coat, a fairly slender build and a proportionally large head, it is a relatively scarce animal, preying mainly on small monkeys, sloths and arboreal rodents. It probably avoids competition with the closely related but far more formidable Harpy Eagle by targeting smaller prey. This very large raptor is one of the most massive modern eagle species, with adult females potentially weighing up to 10 kilograms or 22 pounds. The head is pale grey, topped with a double crown of feathers at the rear, while the back and upper wings are black. The underside, by contrast, is a cream colour. Adult Harpy Eagles sit at the top of the avian food chain across tropical Central and South America, possessing the largest talons of any modern eagle at up to 4 inches long, which enable the bird to carry off animals up to half its own body weight. It is a sit-and-wait hunter, scanning the canopy for potential prey, which includes all species of sloth, various monkeys including howlers and capuchins, as well as iguanas and parrots. Land-based animals are not safe either, with the eagles occasionally going after deer fawns, young peccaries, and armadillos when the opportunity presents itself. It is currently classified as vulnerable due to extensive habitat loss, with the bird now being very rare in Central America. Seeing images of a harpy eagle sitting next to humans clearly demonstrates just how powerful and intimidating these animals are, perhaps giving us some idea of what it would be like to encounter sizable dromaeosaurs like Deinonychus. Next we come to a very different lineage, with this being the so-called true hawks of the subfamily Accipitrinae. These are all relatively modestly sized woodland-dwelling birds that hunt by rapidly launching themselves from a concealed perch, possessing broad wings and highly acute vision to facilitate this. Different genera are adapted for hunting different types of prey, with the widespread lizard buzzard Caupi falco of sub-Saharan Africa specialising, as its name suggests, on catching lizards and other small animals. It is a small, stocky and grey-coloured raptor, with a preferred habitat of moist, dense savanna woodland, where it quickly lunges down onto prey, which can include lizards but also rodents and insects such as grasshoppers and termites. However, the entire subfamily is named after the successful genus Accipiter, which possesses a huge range, being found across Africa, Eurasia and the Americas. It was once thought that up to 50 species were included in Accipiter, although recent studies have shown that this is a massive overestimate, with just 9 species now being recognised. These birds are slender, with short, broad, rounded wings, and the long tail which helps them manoeuvre in flight. They have long legs and long sharp talons used to kill their prey. They often ambush their prey, mainly small birds and mammals, capturing them after a short chase. The typical flight pattern is a series of flaps followed by a short glide. They prefer wooded and scrubland habitats, with the Eurasian sparrowhawk being one of the more commonplace species, found from Ireland to Japan, with a slate grey upper side and a striped underside. This raptor is a fierce hunter of small woodland birds, launching surprise attacks from cover to ambush sparrows, blackbirds and pigeons. These are killed on impact or squeezed to death by the sparrowhawk's talons. This species was heavily persecuted in the UK in the 18th and 19th centuries, due to it targeting game birds kept on aristocratic estates, although today its population numbers have bounced back. Meanwhile, the Harriers of the genus Circus have an even wider range, being found on all continents except Antarctica. During the early stages of the Holocene, they had also reached New Zealand and Hawaii. Harriers are well adapted for flying low over open country, snatching up small prey. The genus originated during the late Miocene and expanded alongside the spread of seafloor grasslands circa 6 to 8 million years ago, and their genus name comes from the Latin for circle, as these birds display distinctive circling patterns as they search for prey. Many species prefer to hunt in swampy, low-lying areas, such as the Australian swamp harrier, although despite the name, it is also found in New Zealand as well. It is the largest species in Circus, being found across most of Australia, aside from areas of true desert in the interior. Preferred prey include water birds, rabbits, frogs and fish. There remains one very expansive subfamily of Accipitrids to cover, with these being the diverse members of Butyoninae, often commonly known as the buzzards. These range greatly in size, from the tiny Mississippi kite that weighs just 13 ounces, to the Steller's sea eagle, which is one of the largest and heaviest modern raptors. However, this video is already long enough as it is, so I'll have to leave this fascinating group for a future video. Thanks for watching, everyone. The next episode will be covering the real-life sea serpents that emerged during the Cenozoic, such as some paleophids and the modern highly venomous aquatic elapids. See you again soon. Cheerio.